ants are the coolest insect in the world. They go from being just one queen ant to hundreds or thousands of ants in a colony. And for the next hour, me and the boys are checking out ant colony simulations. So strap in, grab some popcorn, and enjoy.
It's a queen ant, who in this video will be giving birth to an entire colony. And they're going to be put to the test against my simulations of real-world events. But currently, she's alone, and she needs to care for her eggs until they hatch into worker ants.
Just like Adam.
Thankfully, it didn't take very long until just that happened. The first worker was born.
Wow. Whoa. Dude, why is the ant the same size as the queen?
That took 5 days.
How did she even get pregnant?
Yeah, how does that work, actually?
They just keep pooping out babies.
I thought one of the workers, like, turns into the male and then, like, gets her. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. There's a lot to discover.
That's what you mean by that.
Let's just start by day one.
They do it once in their lifespan.
A species of ant that has these massive mandibles to cut their prey in half. But they're also absolutely massive compared to normal ants, and the workers are almost the same size as the queens. And in the world of ants, the workers have only one purpose: to serve the queen. Workers do almost everything for the queens, including cleaning her and even caring for the
Go ahead, worker.
But I want to make my colony grow extra fast, and you do that by feeding them food. And since it's so small with just 2 ants,
pizza.
let's just start with a single drop of honey. Hopefully they like it.
Nice.
So I slid the drop of
Good
honey
thing it's
into
organic.
the tube for the ants to eat. And almost instantly, the worker went up to
glucose.
investigate this
She's
unknown
starving.
object. She smelled around it
Go
for
ahead,
a
girl.
second, but then went back to the queen to report the findings. The worker is
Yes,
able to
sister.
communicate with the queen by rubbing its antenna against her.
Oh, yeah, the mandibles.
How would you guys describe honey? Like, that's the first food that this ant has ever seen in its entire life, and it's just like, something sweet.
It's going up to the queen. It's like, I found food, Mom! I found food!
Just imagine as a baby, your first time actually trying sugar. It's like, ah!
That is actually kind of crazy that thing is a baby. It's 5 years old. Like, imagine a baby being the same size as his mom after 5 days.
Imagine you as a baby cleaning your mom.
Yeah, but it's not a baby anymore in ant years. That thing's an adult now. 5 days. The thing probably lives 1 week. It probably has 2 days left before it dies, guys.
Ant years to human years. Queen ants can live for 30 years?
What in the Sigma? Nah, okay, I'm done with brain rot.
30 years? She's old. She could drive legally.
She could date legally.
Releases some pheromones signaling that it found some honey. And after the queen gave the go-ahead, the worker traveled back to the honey. But instead of eating it, the worker actually knocked the little plate over, and then the honey soaked into
you
the
clumsy
sand over
girl.
the next 10 minutes. Yeah, she didn't even try to eat it, actually.
Queen ant cut off his head.
Dummy.
The ant did this for a reason. When a colony is this small, the queen will feed the workers by regurgitating its body tissues into the
Hey, yo!
This means the colony already
did not
had
know
enough
that.
food for now. I was gonna have to wait till more ants
Take my
hatched
credit
until
card.
They wanted extra food. So that's exactly what I did. There were
Day
now
38.
4 ants part of the
38?
colony, and
But
their
they
roles would become
multiplied.
A lot more apparent. 2 of them would always stay by the queen to make sure she was safe, while the other 2 would
Bodyguards.
watch after the eggs and guard the entrance. Now this is a
Genius.
colony that should accept my food offerings. And this time I'm not just gonna feed them a puny drop of honey. It's time for some live prey.
Let's go.
Everyone say hello to flightless fruit flies. Quite literally the most depressing
They're
animal
literally
in
just
the
called
world.
walks.
Not only are they absolutely minuscule, but it's a fly that can't fly.
Embarrassing.
Walk.
I honestly didn't know that ants hunt other insects. I thought they just ate plants and like leaves and grass.
You didn't know about the ant wars?
Well, I thought they attack other ants just for, territory's sake, but I didn't know that they actually hunt and eat food like that.
They're just like us. They're omnivores. They eat both plants and animals.
Wow. Wowie, wowie, wow.
Wait, so Alec, what did you think happened when you left your pizza out and they were eating your meat lover's pizza with the beef on it, the cheese? You thought they were only picking the crust?
Well, I didn't know that they hunted animals is what I'm saying.
They eat meat!
They will also steal the larvae from other colonies sometimes.
That's probably like boba tea.
Dude, ants are savage. I think my prediction is they're gonna take over the world in like 100, 200 years.
Harry Green's ant colony?
Not his. The trillions and trillions of ants in the world.
Well,
They already
maybe.
took over Brazil.
There are 20 quadrillion ants on planet Earth right now.
Do you see what I'm saying? We would not win that war. We would lose.
We are outnumbered quite a bit.
Harry Green, if you want to burn these ants at the end of the video, we wouldn't be opposed. All right, let's get back to it.
You had one job and you can't do it. All right, it's a pretty simple process. So first of all, I got this tube with the flightless fruit fly inside of it. And basically, I'm just gonna go and
Bro's
put this
literally
up to
playing
the
God.
ants tube and carefully
Why doesn't he give them a bigger space to live?
I don't think they're gonna kill it.
They're too tiny right now.
Hopefully this goes better than the honey.
And yeah, basically the fly instantly ran into the ant's tube. So
There we go.
Oh, the ant sees him.
Oh, they're going full mode, full attack mode.
Seconds, it actually went unnoticed, hiding amongst the top of the enclosure, but it didn't take long.
I'm an
until
ant.
the first
I'm one of
worker
you.
noticed. The ant
Hide and
opened up
seek.
its jaws and snapped at the fly.
Oh!
Quickly, the other workers started to notice.
Okay, this
and
ant is
soon
crazy.
every
Oh,
ant had
that's
their
like me
eyes
with
on the
sushi.
fly. And
Look at their
thankfully, about a minute
jaws.
later, one of the workers
They're like
lined up a
clamps.
shot, and boom.
Whoa!
Not alive anymore. And the fly slowly
Wow.
got taken to the back of the tube to be stored.
That fly is definitely still alive.
Since the colony
They're
now
putting
had a
him
bit
in
of
the
food,
brig.
I let them grow even more. And oh boy, was the tube starting to get crowded.
Wait, okay, maybe this is a dumb question, but I know we're cutting a lot of days in advance, but I haven't seen a baby ant. Do they start out as full-grown adults?
I don't think so. I think that the queen is supposed to like poop out little like larvae thing, and then eventually they kind of hatch.
Yeah, but do they hatch tiny? Are they just like tiny little babies? How like a human hatches and it's like a tiny version of a person?
No, I don't think so. I think they grow to the size that they're at right now within the egg, and then they break through the egg.
I don't think so.
I looked it up and they go from their pupal stage fully developed and in their adult size. So when they're in a pupa, they're still technically like in the egg. They're basically like little snakes growing inside of the egg, but they pop out full size.
Wow. I will still not give Adam credit for that because I don't like him. But he was right.
Let's go. He probably puts it on his Patreon.
With 3 more workers and 1 more about to hatch.
And while this is great for my colony, as you can tell, the tube is getting extremely cramped. Some of the ants can't even walk
Bigger,
around. So I'm gonna have to move these
bigger.
guys into a new home.
But here on the Terra Green channel, we're not just gonna go online and buy an ant nest.
Walmart.
Oh no. What
Walmart.
I did instead
he's gonna
is
build
take
it.
out a brick, which I'm gonna turn into an ant
There we
nest.
go.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Whoa.
Basically,
Is he gonna
I just
chisel it?
started using a hammer and chisel
Oh my
it
gosh, he's a Greek
Whoa.
god.
furniture on the brick. You see, ant colonies usually like to
Okay,
have
Michelangelo.
multiple of these little tight crevice areas in their nest because it lets them store different things like eggs, food, and trash in each one. After I finished carving, I gave the whole thing a nice blue paint job.
Okay, Terra
and
god.
finally, I covered it with a clear acrylic sheet.
And the best part is this little hole I made right here, which I can go and squeeze water down into this sponge. And this will just make the
nice.
humidity across the whole enclosure correct, because apparently ants like wetness.
Is that still small to you guys?
It does seem
a little
pretty
bit,
small.
but it is a nice upgrade. It's kind of like when you're starting a family. You get a little condo starter home, and then when you get a bigger family, you get a whole farm.
Is that your end goal, Jack? You want to farm?
That's what you gotta do, right?
Okay.
That's what they do in Farmville.
Who taught you this?
The Bible.
Alrighty.
Here is the beautiful Terra Green ant nest, which is now ready for the trapjaw ants. Using some tubing, I put one end of it onto the nest and the other end onto the
Probably
tube.
hurts so bad if one of
Almost
those
instantly,
ants
one of the workers
snips
took
your
an
hand.
interest and decided to walk down the tube.
12,000
No
likes
idea
and we'll
where
get
it
one
led,
to
but it took
snip
the
at
brave
it.
decision to explore.
Shut up,
But as
Alec.
we know, it led straight
bless
to the
you.
new nest. The worker looked super excited and explored
God.
all around
Let's
the new
go!
place. It was the perfect place for the colony to move to. So she traveled out of the nest and went straight up to the queen to report its findings.
All right, now that the ants
New
know
home
about the new
acquired!
nest, in order for them to move in, I have to make this one super appealing, so then they all want to come over. And I've got a couple things I'm gonna do, but first of all, I've got a tube of sugar water, which I'm just gonna go and plug in.
Sugar water?
Like
I do
that.
some nasty things with some sugar water.
Clear acrylic sheet for now with this little.
I guess that's
red
what they'll
acrylic
feed on.
sheet.
You see, ants like their nest
Why?
to be very dark inside. So I'm using this red
Oh.
acrylic because it blocks out pretty much
Good
all
idea.
the light, but still lets me see
Smart.
inside a bit. Finally, I just put
Wicked
my
smart.
bright studio light at the tube so they'd be more inclined to move. And it didn't take very long until
He's just
He's
burning them.
flashbanging them.
Dude, this is actually crazy. He's Terra God. He's putting the sun on them and like forcing them to move.
I can't believe he trapped them in that little tube for 40 days. They couldn't move. They could only walk in circles for 40 days.
the new nest. Eventually, every ant knew about the new home. And while some grabbed the remaining eggs to move, others, like this worker, escorted the queen through the tube to the new nest. I decided to keep the red acrylic screen on while they're adjusting, and as you can see, they were definitely very active inside. So I left them alone another whole 10 days.
Oh my
And when I
gosh.
came back,
Whoa!
not only did another
Whoa.
worker or two hatch, the whole colony
Is
was
that
now
poop?
functioning even more smoothly.
Yeah, what
It
are
seemed like
they even
every
supposed to do in there? There's nothing to do in there.
I think all the little rocks are from the other place. They probably drug them in.
Ants like to build their home, right? Like they like to dig into a tree or whatever it might be to build an actual home. They can't do that inside of a brick.
No. They go into the cracks. They like to live in the cracks. They don't like to build their own homes. They do it because they have to.
There's ant hills, and then they dig underground.
I think Alec is technically correct, but if they, I mean, they physically cannot do that because he put them in a brick. So I don't think that they can make a home in a brick. So that's why he pre-did it for them.
So there's nothing for them to do. They're just all walking around. It's like a Club Penguin igloo house with nothing in it and just the boys chilling.
That's a
For more
crazy
babies.
reference.
Well, technically it's the girls.
Busy doing
They're all
something.
female.
They even
Slay
found a tight little furnace
sisters.
to keep the queen and
Pop
all
off,
the eggs
queens.
inside of.
And this is where it gets fun, because now that the ants have their own little nest, I can build them a bunch of different outworlds of different environments.
There we go.
Hunt for food inside of, and as you can see, I've got the first little outworld right
This is
here.
actually
For
Minecraft,
this
different
first
biomes.
outworld, I want to keep
I
it simple
like it.
by just laying
Ooh.
down some orange sand across the whole enclosure. Then I put in some rocks and a little cactus, which was kind of
I wonder if he's
gonna
gonna put a predator in there.
And even though I was wearing these gloves, it kept poking me, and yeah, it kind of hurts. Anyways, finally, the most important part is this stuff called fluon. Basically, it's a liquid that you
What?
dab onto a cotton ball and rub across the top of the enclosure. This stuff will basically
Oh,
destroy
so they
glass
can't get
and make
out.
the top of the enclosure
I thought he
so
was
slippery
chloroforming
that
the ants.
cannot escape no matter what. After the desert enclosure was done, I connected a tube from it into the nest so the ants could go there. And soon enough, I saw a worker come out into the tube, and of course,
Ooh,
she made her way
new
over to
portal.
the desert
Woo.
outworld.
That first ant has to be so brave. Or do you think they just say like rock, paper, scissors, shoot for who goes through that tube?
Adam, just imagine, right? Just imagine that, like, you and Alec, you guys are just chilling in your house, and then one day a giant tunnel opens up in your window. Are you going through it?
I'm going in.
I tried to convince Alec to go first. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
We'll crawl in together. That'll be right behind me.
We'll go butt to butt.
That would be insane.
We have to get every angle. Make sure no funny business is going on.
Guys, if this video gets 69,000 likes, we should live for 100 days in an ant enclosure.
To explore all around it. Now the reason for why I built this outworld. I want to test the trapjaw mandibles to see if they can take down prey bigger than them. I'm gonna put a cricket in here. So without wasting any time, I dropped the cricket.
He was testing on his
and
finger.
It didn't take very long until the cricket came across path.
What if
Oh my
the cricket
gosh.
fights
You see,
back?
trapjaw
I was
ants
going
have
right for
these
it.
little hairs inside of their jaws to detect when prey is within striking distance. It lunged at the
That cricket does
and
not
snapped
care.
its jaws.
That
Oh,
ant
got
is
him.
Like this.
Oh,
Tried to
he
attack
just snapped
the
his
cricket a few
booty.
more
Fight back,
times, but
Cricky.
All of the shots were missing. In fact, it was taking so long that the cricket made its way into the
Oh,
tube
he
and
made-
crawled
yeah.
all the way into
He's
the
about to
nest
get the
with
queen.
it.
He's going
their
for the
base.
queen.
Now, it wasn't just
Get
about
him!
food. The colony needed to take down this cricket
Bro.
in order to make sure
Oh my
it
gosh.
didn't get hurt. While the cricket frantically ran
This is
around,
awesome.
almost all of the workers were
It isn't.
taking their
Oh, that's a
shots to try
poor
and stop
cricket.
the
I feel bad
cricket's
for him.
Get that cricket!
taken a
They're
long
doing
time,
zero
but eventually
damage.
This worker here really put in some
Get the
focus
leg.
to line up her shots. And when she
Oh, right
snapped,
for the head.
she perfectly got a hold of the cricket.
And his name was John Ant.
Stopped moving. Yes, it's extremely brutal, but the colony had now successfully eliminated the threat and stored away as food for
that's
later.
kinda
Anyways,
sad.
over the next few days, I
They're gonna
continued
eat
to
it.
monitor the colony to ensure their eggs were
That is insane. Imagine you're that cricket and you get dropped in there. Ah! You got a bunch of blind ants just chomping at you, and you're just like, you're trying to play dodgeball with them.
That would be like if we dropped you off, like, in the jungle.
And they're like crocodiles trying to get you.
Nah,
Yeah, there's lots of crocodiles and gorillas.
it'd be more like if you dress me up as a burger and drop me off at McDonald's.
You think grown people are gonna try to eat you?
It's a crazy world out there.
What?
It's a crazy world. You haven't seen people when they're hungry.
fine, and even fed them a bit more flightless fruit flies until finally it was day 97. The colony now had 12 workers, and of course the queen.
Let's go.
But I did actually notice over in the corner
He
of
should
the
name
nest,
them all.
one of the ants had curled up and had died. It's likely that this dead ant here was one of the founding workers.
What happened?
Sometimes those
That
first ants only have the
ant.
lifespan of a month or two. Anyways, despite the dead
Wow.
ant, the
Poor
colony
guy.
was actually still thriving.
And because of that, I
wonder
think
if they
this
eat
colony
the
He's just
is
laying there
ready for
dead.
an entire new outworld to be built. Because as you can see, they kind of just turned the desert into like a trash dumping ground.
So I got out the enclosure and started to build it. For this enclosure, I'm literally making the floor out of just this fake grass material that is nice and bright and
Okay.
green. And for the decorations, I'm
I like
keeping it
it.
very simple with just these two little pieces of bark. And finally, I just hooked up
it
some
simple.
tubing so the ants could access the new place.
I really want him to make one of the outworlds an actual like skinny ant farm. So like what Alec was saying is where they can actually like dig down and make a new home. That would be so cool.
I like that. What insect do you think he's gonna fight next? I think it'll be a spider.
I want a praying mantis.
Ooh, praying mantis would destroy him. I want a scorpion. Put a scorpion in there.
That's not the right biome, but yeah, maybe.
I didn't
I
want
don't
to rush
care.
them, though, so I gave the colony a few days to explore it on their own. And all of the ants were fine on day 98 and day
Dang, day
99. But I
99?
came back on day 100 to just a single ant in the nest.
What?
I was really confused.
Where did
but
they
surely
go?
They were all just exploring the outworlds or something. So I checked the
happened?
desert and nothing was there. Then I checked the grassy
What?
outworld. Still,
They gotta
not a
be
single
there.
ant. But then I found it. The tiniest
Whoa.
galaxy
No!
red acrylic. barely visible, but it was just big enough for every ant to be able to escape through it overnight.
Except for the one.
And this wasn't just any ant inside of here. It was the queen. Queens don't just leave the nest unless other ants escort them. So she was here all alone on day 100.
Is she
just like
dying?
she was on day 1.
This is seriously.
Are they gonna come back for her?
I had such cool plans.
That's
for
kind of
day 100,
poetic.
But I can't find a single worker ant literally anywhere. I checked all around the table.
I figured there was only one right thing to do. So I got a cotton ball, I scooped the queen up onto it, and put her into
And I
a
ate
new
it.
pen. She had raised the start of a colony all by herself once, so she should be able to do it again. Let's reset the day counter and do this one more time.
And she has the next 1,000 days
Oh, oh,
to
oh,
create
oh, she
an
failed.
empire.
Pop off,
But a
queen.
rival colony is watching their every move, and if she fails,
Weird.
they will wage a war, destroy
Whoa.
her home, and take over mine.
Oh, wow. Things are about to get very real very fast.
Everything
Oh my
depends
God.
on her.
She did that all by
But in
herself.
the world
Larvae.
above,
It's actually going to be insane because she's literally one ant. Like one ant.
She's a single mom, and she's laying eggs that will eventually turn into an entire ant army.
Yeah, literally keep that in mind because I think by the end there will be thousands and thousands of ants.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's going to be an ant war later on in this video. That's kind of messed up. He's setting up these ants to go to war.
Whoa, whoa.
It's kind of mean.
Ants fight. That's what they do.
face competition and rival colonies. Their journey has only just begun.
Aww,
She will
so
never
cute.
leave the safety of
She
her
is
nest.
not cute.
So she creates
Oh,
workers
her
to
first
serve
babies.
and protect
The
her.
worker ants.
But the enemy has already arrived.
Oh, dude, give him some time.
Wild
Give him some time.
On the hunt.
Adam, it's been 64 days.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but there's only 3 of them. It is pretty hilarious, though, that once an ant is born, the mom is like, "Work, you baby peasant! Go find food!" Like, literally the second they're born.
And fun fact, most of the ants in an ant colony are actually females.
That's not fun. That's just a fact.
But it's a fun fact.
I'm not having fun.
A hunt for new territory.
Binky.
Yeah, get out of
This
here.
wild colony lives
That's
on
how
my
awesome that is.
windowsill. Oh my god.
Ew.
The
Hey, why would he
workers
do
act
that?
quickly. They are beginning to build a wall.
Dr. Plant has the best
They
time
will
lapses.
stop at nothing to protect
is
their
epic.
queen.
The camera
And pretty
quality is
soon,
insane, too.
Their
Oh.
entrance is sealed.
Oh, that's
Actually
smart.
kind of smart, yeah.
But war is coming.
Why-
and
why
if
are
they
they
want
sealing
to
the entrance?
survive, they will need
So nobody
an
can find
army.
them.
And for that,
Yo.
they need food. They specialize in collecting seeds.
This is crazy. This is real
Their
life.
job is
So
to
does Alec.
transport them underground, where they store them in a bakery.
That's so cool.
It's
Here,
amazing.
They ground and crush the seeds into bread, ant bread.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. We should package. You know how people package up bee honey? We should do ant bread and sell it. That could be $1 billion business right there.
Adam, I don't know if it tastes as good as the honey.
We can make it work. Some people say it's like honey, but it's 95% something else, and then they just add the honey part.
It's a great idea, Adam. You should do it. You got it.
Ant bread.
Yep, you got it.
Ooh, maybe you can get our Aunt Claudia to help.
What?
She's a baker.
Oh, okay.
It's the perfect food for their growing larvae. And
Ew!
7 days later,
It's
the
already been
results
140
are
days. Let's see
clear.
how many they got. Wow. They got a lot.
There was
So
a
it's been like
population
4.5
boom,
months.
all powered by their tiny bakery.
I'm counting 20, maybe 30.
But the new workers are weak
Oh,
and
Aw.
clumsy.
How did they survive that
any
fall?
human would have
Like
died, yeah.
honey.
Wow.
Yet
Oh, there's the honey,
stayed
Adam.
Shook it off like it was
untouched
nothing.
for days until it was discovered by a wild ant. Thankfully,
How are they
she's
getting in
alone.
there?
Wait, is that the different
Or so
species?
Yeah, that's a different species.
They launched an
Whoa!
attack. This is nothing compared to the war.
Let our
Yet
army
the
grow a little
colony
bit,
is
dang.
overrun.
Dude, this is
This is messed
crazy.
But I tried to save as many of our
Aw,
ants as
poor
I
ant.
could.
No.
Oh,
No.
did you? Why don't you save all of them by putting a lid on top? He's acting like he tried to save as many as he could, you know?
It's actually pretty sad. I don't like that.
I think Dr. Plant, he wanted to make it as realistic as he possibly could, you know, to let in some other things, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that he let a wild ant colony inside when they only have like 30 ants.
I know, he's got to at least give them like another 300 days to build. Let them build their army.
That would be like letting Alec go into a nursery and beat up a bunch of toddlers.
That's so true.
Let's make that happen, but just for scientific purposes, not because I would have any joy in doing that. There's a side effect of that project.
Are we still talking about ants or fighting toddlers?
Fighting toddlers and me doing it. No?
I'll make the call.
I feel such a strong personal bond
Too late.
with these red ants.
Damage had already.
It's like my
It's gonna
family.
make me cry. They're taking over the entire thing.
I
black
spent
ants are
hours
crazy.
removing the enemy.
Like, how are they getting in there?
By one, by
Well, Adam,
one.
There's
said it
no
best,
way he
there's
didn't
no
put
way.
it there. There's so many.
That's true. There's
There's so many.
Wow.
Oh,
Most
That's
of
the entire
colony
army.
did not survive.
they're all dead.
Is the queen
Oh,
okay?
oh, that one's
And
suffering.
those that
Oh,
did
just put it out of
are
its misery.
badly injured.
Oh, what happened to him?
Oh,
He
God.
got bit a million
Ants are
times.
one of the
No.
few animals that
Oh,
respect
honey,
their
are you
dead.
okay?
So the remaining few
Are they gonna-
build a graveyard.
What?
Whoa.
Ants are so much like humans, it's kind
It is
of disturbing.
almost
I think they have their own
unbelievable.
way of communicating that. It's
Do you
very
think they
more
have a
complicated
Jesus?
than that we think.
Do you think there's
Oh,
an
no.
Ant Jesus out
They
there?
might
They
have their
may
own
have
ant
lost the
religion.
battle,
An ant religion
but
right
will
now is
they
Dr.
win
Plant.
the war?
That's true. He kind of is their
The
god.
colony is weaker than ever, but
literally
they
is.
still need honey to survive.
I've never been
Last
so
time,
emotionally
they
invested
caused
in
a
an ant
disaster.
colony.
This time,
There we
they
go.
act with caution and begin to feed.
Ooh, this will make them strong.
They're so hairy. Oh my, they got that Alec beard. Look at that.
What?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
I don't know. It's kind of cute a little bit, you know? It's got like its little eyeball and it's got like all the antennas.
The way to tell if something's cute or not is if that ant was human size, would you run or would you go over and pet it?
Like the size of a dog.
No, the size of a human.
I would be kind of scared.
Exactly. Not cute.
But if you were the size of an ant, you would be cute.
Yeah, we all know I'm cute. What are you talking about?
I was talking to Alec.
Wait, what is that supposed to mean? I didn't even say anything in that conversation. How did I get roped into that and get called ugly at the same time?
Jack said you're cuter than me.
Okay, let's nickname this ant Alex. So it's different. Ooh, eat that up, Alex.
But then
something
something
gets me
remarkable
wiggly.
happens.
Oh,
He's
what
shoving
the-
that booty in there.
They are
Whoa, whoa,
covering
that's
the
his
honey
head.
in dirt
Wait, what is he doing?
and debris.
Why?
Why? They're ruining it.
Oh wait, maybe they're trying to make a giant
It is
ball. Maybe like
genius.
it's like
They're hiding
cement.
it from the wild colony.
Oh.
Protecting the honey means protecting their queen.
Okay.
Wait a second, they're smarter
They're
than
camouflage-
us.
The
Camouflaging
only
their
one in the
food
nest
source.
who can lay eggs. If she dies, the rest of the colony is doomed.
Got a lot of eggs.
But
That
with
is
her
true.
survival, the colony thrives.
She's just pooping all day long. I've been there before. It's not that bad.
We've all been there. We are jumping all the way to day 360. It's been a full year.
Well,
Whoa,
that means
whoa.
that they are still surviving and
Whoa,
thriving.
Day 600,
Day 600!
the colony had become a fortress.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's awesome. They have like a full mansion down there.
But it is time to put their defenses to the test.
Hey, no,
Here
don't.
are 100
No.
fruit flies.
Don't do that.
Why would you do
Oh,
that?
it's just fruit flies.
Annoying
It's just fruit
and
flies.
a lot like
As soon as he puts them in there, aren't they just gonna all fly away? Or did he chop their wings off?
I think that it's a certain type of fruit fly that can actually fly. So
What a
it's-
lame type of fly. It's a fly that can't fly.
Imagine being called a fly and you literally can't fly. That's literally in your name. That's embarrassing.
I feel like if your last name was
They
Walker and you were paralyzed.
the ants begin to
Come on.
panic while many of the flies stand still. If they don't move, then they may remain unseen.
it's
But
plotting.
this
Yes.
one makes a run for it.
It doesn't look
You know they
And
throw up
so
on their
does that
food.
one, and that one.
Ooh,
and
swatted.
that one.
Swatted. Bink.
But
Bonk.
this one
Swatted.
is
Oh,
not
oh,
as
oh, oh,
Oh my gosh, what are they doing?
lucky. He is the first.
Is it bad?
kill
I don't feel bad at all for the flies.
I hate
Should
flies.
I?
I want every
I
fly
feel
to die. in
so
the
excited
entire
for the
universe.
ants. I want these ants to become
Even
the
though
biggest
they
ant
caught
colony.
Most of the
Like my
flies,
family now.
A few managed to escape.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
The
They're so
escaped
devious.
Flies were not as safe as
Uh-oh.
they thought.
Oh!
oh,
Out
they,
of the
he
frying
literally
pan.
just walked.
And-
Just imagine you think you're safe, like you leave the cold colony, you're like, oh, my whole life's ahead of me, and boom, an entirely bigger army.
He's like, freedom!
Guys, he's not dead yet. Maybe he survives. Dude, he should call an
It seems
exterminator.
our colony is not as prepared.
Instead of hiring an exterminator, getting this done for like $100, instead his big plan was to wait 1,000 days to grow a competitive army. Then that army will be big enough to take out those ants.
I mean, yeah, I could see Ants Canada doing this, but Dr. Plant doing this was not in my 2025 bingo board.
That's more of a Dr. Doofenshmirtz plan right there.
Thought. So over the next year, our colony became an empire.
Wow.
I wonder if
There's
these
like
are
12
ant
more
days or
rooms.
if these are
The
real
wild
days.
colony acted in
I think
power.
real days.
Both of them are fully preparing for war. But this one escaped into my kitchen. I didn't know why
Eat him.
until I returned.
Uh-oh.
There was an all-out
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, the war
It's going
began.
down.
and the enemy
Oh my God.
had already made their way under.
No!
Invading the colony. No! No!
So it's been 600 days, but we forget that like our army was growing, we know that, but the other army was also growing for that 600 days. So they're probably like 5 times the size that they were earlier.
Adam, this is a mass bloodbath right now. What are you talking about? Shut up!
I hate this. I didn't
They
want to
have
watch
to
this.
save
This
the
is
queen.
Oh, the
not
queens
good.
can't
The queen
die.
brought to the deepest part of the colony.
Oh my gosh, they're getting
How
her
did
to
you
the
get this
safe room.
shot?
Alec is the last protector.
This is crazy. This makes me
it's
want to
just
get my
an
own ant colony.
onslaught.
The
up
rest of
there.
the nest had been abandoned, and the remaining
Oh my
workers
God.
swarmed the queen.
Guys, if this video gets 15,000 likes, Adam, Alec, and I will each buy our own ant colony and spend 100 days building it out, and then we'll unleash them in the same area to see whose is more powerful.
I'm down.
I call red fire ants.
I want the black crazy ants.
I'll get the carpenter ants.
I want a gorilla.
You'll just get a gorilla
But a
by
worker
accident.
was left behind, fighting to break free.
I think that's Steve.
Sting
But
him.
the enemy
Get him.
was
Steve.
Not the
Steven.
babies.
larva.
Leave the babies alone.
One by one,
They're eating the
began
babies.
to die.
Man, the wild is relentless, bro.
1,000
There's no
days
rules out
led
there.
Up to this,
Oh my god.
No
the
rules in
queen
a while.
began alone to create an empire. But would they let it fall?
No, they won't.
To save
No,
their
they
queen,
won't!
Our colony turns not to flee, but to fight.
Turbo mode,
Oh.
baby! That's what I'm talking about! Let's go!
Oh, we're
Let's
fighting
go!
back!
Let's go!
They begin to
Red
rally
team!
to
Red
their
team, let's go!
queen.
Let's go, red team! Come on, red! Let's go, red!
They're so much smaller. Bite them! Destroy them! Fight for your
Even my
lives!
Fire and power!
Got him. Got
Get
him.
'em.
Got him.
Get 'em, boys.
Everyone's fighting back.
Get 'em, boys. Yeah.
Bing, bing,
Kill
bing,
him!
bing,
Kill him! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about! Get
They
them!
reached the surface, and the enemy was on the run.
Oh
Let's
my gosh, they
go!
got them on the back
They were
ropes,
winning,
boys!
and pretty soon they had won.
Yes!
The
Let's
wild
go!
colony was never to be seen again.
No plan worked.
This is my harvester
Ugh,
ant colony.
guys, I get
Despite
creeped out by
starting
ants.
from a tiny little
Why? I
tube,
love ants.
over the past
Got
30
so many
days,
little
the
legs.
colony has expanded to an entirely new level. Over the month, I've documented their lifestyle, including them hunting, building shelter, eating, and more.
Dude, that's so
Whoa.
cool.
I even introduced special predators and prey in order to simulate real
That
world
was the
scenarios
cutest
in the
looking
wild.
spider.
To understand how
Why
this
is
all
he
started,
jump
we gotta go
scaring
back
me?
to day one.
Day
where my
one.
entire colony was confined to a single tube.
What the heck,
But
dude?
while they may be small, they are already extremely powerful. To demonstrate
Oh
this,
my
I'm putting a
gosh.
live mealworm inside.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh,
Mealworm.
that-
Colony
Mealworm.
of
Run,
regular
mealworm!
defense
Oh, GG's.
mode, and the
Oh my
workers
God.
swarmed the worm.
That was the
While
fastest
half
battle
the
I've ever
ants used their
seen.
mandibles
That is
to
death
crush
by
the worm's
1,000 cuts.
exoskeleton.
That is
The other
torture.
half gathered around the queen and larvae.
I feel like
to
I'm
protect
watching
them from the
a
potential
murder.
threats. Using their
Protect the
stingers, they
queen.
injected a potent venom into the worm to paralyze it. The me-
Wait, did you guys know that?
What kind of video is this, man?
Did you guys know? Wait, did you guys know that ants have stingers? I thought that they just had these.
Alec, let's see your butt. Do you have a stinger?
What do you? No, I'm not showing you my. What is no?
Keep that away. Nobody wants to see that.
What are you talking
No.
about?
Well, you guys are so
Oh, my
weird.
bad.
I didn't say that. He said that.
Alex, stop trying to bring up your stinger, dude. We get it. You're a red ant, okay?
I have a really big stinger, but I'm not gonna show it.
I don't want to see it anyway.
worm stood no chance, and its only purpose now was to serve as food
that
for
thing
my
is dead.
colony over the next few
that thing
days.
is dead.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I could
took
tell
less
the
than a day
colony
to
was getting
kill that
way
thing.
too big for this tiny tube, and they were even trying to break their way out.
It's time
so I
to
figured now is a good
expand.
time to expand them into a bigger home.
Whoa.
This is a hybrid
I had one of
nest,
those
and
when
it's
I was
gonna
like
be their
8
new
years old.
home.
That
so
is
I connected
amazing. That is
vinyl
not a
tubing,
home.
and soon enough, one of the ants started to walk towards the new nest.
He's so brave.
He's so
After
slow.
discovering
adventurous.
it, she traveled back to her home to tell the rest of the colony about the new
How does he know that's a woman?
And
Yeah, aren't they all boys? Aren't they all guys?
No.
There's only one queen ant.
There's one queen, but then there's a bunch of peasants, and the peasants can be whatever they want.
Are you sure they're not all boys?
Alec, it is 2024. You can identify however you want.
The soldiers are men, but everybody else, I think, is a woman or a man.
I thought that they killed any girl that was born because they don't want another queen. There can only be one queen.
I think that's in a different civilization.
Oh, guys, fact check Alec in the comments. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
seriously, I want to know.
Alex is so
I don't
dumb
know
right
if that's
now.
true or not, but that's what I thought.
No.
I thought that every time there was a girl, they just murdered it.
Oh, that's the food. Oh, I see.
Maybe that's with tarantulas.
slowly, over the rest of the day, everyone moved into the nest. I let
Whoa,
the
I
colony
can already
get
see
used
them.
to their
They're-
new home
they're
for a
laying
few
eggs.
days.
They're babies.
But by day 6, I was bored of
It's a
just looking
girl!
at the ants
Kill
in the
it!
plastic nest. So I wanted to build their first real-world habitat with live
Let's
prey
go!
and
Oh, there we go.
predators. A desert.
Let's
For the build, I
go!
built up the substrate starting with a drainage layer, and then I added in a mix
Oh,
of
yeah,
sand
of
and
course, the
coconut
drainage
fiber
layer.
to the floor. I finally added in rocks, wood,
Oh.
and cacti to make it
The ants are gonna love this.
Wait, a desert though? Ants live in a desert? Ants don't live in deserts.
They live in deserts. They live in rainforests. They live in my backyard.
Yeah, they live in like forests, like plains, tropical area, not deserts.
Fire ants live in deserts. That is a fact. That's why they're red, because they're in the sun 24/7.
Jack, tell him how many ants are in the world.
There are trillions, approximately 7.6 trillion ants on planet Earth right now.
That has nothing to do with what I said at all. That literally has nothing to do with what I said.
They're everywhere. They could be here. They could be there. And I actually lied. You guys thought there were trillions. There are actually 20 quadrillion ants on planet Earth right now.
But there's none in the desert. There's no ants in the desert.
That is 2.5 million ants per human being. So they
That
could be
still
everywhere.
doesn't
They could
prove
be.
that they're in the desert though.
They're in your house right now, Alec. They're in your house.
My house isn't a desert.
It might as well be, because there's nobody else within a 20-mile radius. You have no friends.
What is happening right now? What is happening? I can't.
Mentally, Alec is in a desert.
If you make one more dumb comment, you're out. You're out.
Oh, but real talk, would you guys like be an ant for a day if you could?
Yeah,
made
I'd
me
be
mad.
anything for a day if I could.
been
As long
2
as I don't
minutes.
die, of course.
2 minutes into
But
the
you-
video, I'm already so
You
mad at
might
you.
die.
Well, then
The
no,
desert
because
was
ants die all the
complete.
time.
So I connected the ants with another vinyl tube, and quickly a couple workers ventured into the uncharted territory.
Back to ants.
Uncharted territory.
In order
Oh,
to give
I
a
do video, I
reason
don't
for the
know.
colony to explore further,
They're like,
into this
"Ew,
desert,
desert?
I
This isn't a
sprinkled some of their
rainforest?
favorite
Back to
seeds
the
around
cage."
habitat
We don't
and
live
dandelion seeds. And let's just say those seeds made the ants start swarming into the desert, and everyone was
always
doing their
lures them
part to
in.
take food back
Well, look,
to the
see, they're
queen.
going in the desert, getting food and coming back because they
Dang,
don't like
that
the
queen
desert.
is-
One of the ants traveled a little too far into the desert
Uh-oh.
and came across this little pit.
What is that? Oh,
Thinking it
oh,
was
it's a
nothing,
spider.
he made the worst
No, no, no.
decision
No,
of
that's
his
not a
life
spider.
and
I know what that
walked
is.
into it.
Dude,
no,
what
no.
is that?
Something was attacking, and
was
the
funny
ant
back,
could
though.
do nothing about it. You see, earlier that day, I had placed antlion larvae.
This guy's
into
a
the desert.
savage.
These guys
so
create
evil,
little.
bro.
His name is literally the ant lion. That's crazy.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh.
This guy's so mean. He's literally playing God. He's putting mealworms in to get picked apart alive. He's putting in ant lions to kill his ants, and he's doing it all for fun.
So wait, that is an ant, but it's like a lion ant?
Yeah, it's an it's an ant lion.
Some say it's the king of the desert.
Oh.
So they just camp underground and they just wait
They're literally Fortnite bush campers.
for real.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Got him.
That would be like you waiting at the drive-thru of a Wendy's, just like on your back, waiting for French fries to fall.
Pretty much. You know what? I used to hate this animal, but now I love it. That might be my new favorite insect.
I know what I'm
That's
dressing
your
up
spirit
for.
animal. You are an antlion.
Halloween's coming up, Alex.
Holes in the sand and wait for an unlucky ant like this guy to stumble in.
No,
but this
my
ant wasn't
ant.
going to die without a fight and grabbed on
Sting
with his
him.
mandibles.
Whoa,
He
whoa.
got a sting
The
in.
Sting
ant
him.
lion was
Oh, it's
actually
fighting
losing
back.
and didn't even have a
Wait,
grip
what?
on
No,
the
it's kinda
ant.
winning.
But the ant
you
lion
serious?
was smarter
Oh.
and used his ability to burrow and pulled the ant under
Oh
the
my
sand,
God, he's getting
never
buried alive.
to be
What?
seen
For being an
again.
ant lion, he should be way stronger.
While the ants liked the desert, they had to be careful to avoid the deadly predators. Anyways, I wanted to add a desert-themed prey into this habitat to give the ants a
Okay.
solid protein source. So let me
What would
introduce
that
you to
be?
Mexican
prey.
jumping beans.
What the?
These guys
these
may
things.
just look like giant seeds, but in reality, they move.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
Oh,
because
yeah.
inside of
We've
each
seen
of
these
these
before.
beads is a little caterpillar that would eventually turn into a beautiful moth. But these caterpillars
is
will
so
not
strange.
be turning into moths because the ants are going to eat them.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, I thought the
Yo,
ants would
this
just
guy's
swarm the jumping beans
crazy.
and dig their way into them, but in reality, they didn't really react to them. So I had to expose the juicy prey inside by cutting them open myself
cheating.
and putting them right
Whoa.
next
Okay,
to
this
some-
guy is
guy
playing
is-
God.
This
He
guy's
is
cheating.
evil.
Well, it's safe to say that the ants enjoy the soft membrane caterpillars.
These
that
ants
they
have it
can
so
split in
easy.
half with their
This is
man.
like when my
think
mom
they
chewed my
watch.
food for me when I was
That's actually
younger.
pretty brutal, if I'm being honest. The colony slowly started to
That
build
must
up their
hurt so
food
bad.
supply at their home base with seeds and the caterpillars.
are they eating?
And of course, the excess food led the queen to start laying more and more eggs. And after only a
Yes!
few days, the colony's
More,
population
more,
was getting ready
more,
to boom.
more.
So to
I want to see more clips of the queen just like spitting out her eggs.
Why? You want like a queen cam?
Well, I want to see the ants grow into the colony that they are.
Wait, I'm pretty sure ants are born and then they're like full size and they're just like ready to go. I don't think they're babies. I've never seen a baby ant in my entire life.
It has eggs coming out of her.
No, they go from egg to like full-sized worker ant.
Yeah, that's how everything works, Jack. You start as baby and then you get to adult.
I've never seen a baby ant.
They have showed baby ants in this video.
Guys, comment down below a timestamp of a baby ant and I will disprove it.
prepare for all
It's
the
like the
new
yellow
ants,
ants.
I'm gonna build another entire habitat for the ants to explore with all the new predators and
two
prey.
habitats?
So in this weirdly shaped terrarium, I'm building a rainforest. Honestly, it's a
What?
little complicated.
See, that's
on
where they
how I
actually
built it,
live.
so I'm just
Bro,
gonna show you
wait a
these
second.
sped up clips.
They're gonna go from the
and-
desert to the rainforest? That is insane.
They're gonna go from a tube to a maze to a desert to a rainforest in 30 days.
These ants aren't gonna know what's what from who's who.
I kind of want this guy to like start running my life. Do I get to move to another house every week? That'd be awesome.
Imagine you open your door every single day and it was just like a new biome. Like, oh, frick, dude, we're in the rainforest. I wasn't ready.
It sounds like you're talking about the seasons. I think that happens, Jack.
Wait a second, it's warm outside now?
Jack,
What?
that happens every day.
What the heck, bro?
I might start my own reaction channel. If you guys want to see that, comment down below. Can't deal with these guys anymore.
And
Is this guy gonna add in
there
snow
we go.
soon?
I'm gonna first fill up this rainforest with some Kentucky bluegrass seeds. And then
love
I've
their
also got
seeds.
some flightless fruit flies for the ants to get even more food.
Wait,
Flightless?
Of course,
Wait,
That's
that's
not
not
even a
even
fly.
Imagine being called a fly and you can't fly. That's the most pathetic animal I've ever heard of in my entire life.
I don't even know if that's a real animal. I think that dude like cut their wings off. This guy's crazy.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
that thing had wings. I think it's actually what it's called, a
Yeah,
flightless
but
fly.
it clipped the flying wings.
I think that guy's crazy. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think a flightless fly. That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, let's ask Google.
That is a fallacy.
Food the ants will venture, and within a few minutes, the ants were swarming their new habitat. The flightless fruit flies were the perfect
Flightless
size
fruit
for the
fly.
ants to
That's a
hunt,
thing.
and literally single
so
ants could bring them
weird.
back
That's
to
so
the nest.
sad.
But this wasn't just a food-filled dreamland. There are predators here, and this ant is about to figure out the hard way.
Let's
With one
nickname
wrong
him
turn, the ant
Alec.
makes its way towards a carnivorous Venus flytrap.
No,
Alec, watch
dude.
out. Alec!
The
Alec,
ant
don't do
was
it, Alec!
It's a fly
not
trap.
Alec,
knowing
don't
its
do it.
life
This
This
really
really
would
would
be
be
so
Alec.
much to
This
live
really would
for.
be Alec.
Foolishly, it fell for
Yep.
the bait.
No,
As Venus
Alec.
That is so
flytraps
Alec.
produce a
Alec, you
sweet
fool.
nectar
I could
to
lure
It's a
him
fly
in with a
trap,
big
not an
net.
ant
No.
trap, dummies.
Alec, you gotta
As
get
the
out of
ant
that.
was busy inspecting the plant,
Oh, no.
the fly trap
Oh, no, Alec.
slowly started to close
God,
its
that is
mouth,
the dumbest
leaving
way to
no
go out. Are you
chance of
serious?
escape for the ant. You could see the ant slightly moving around inside.
Why do I feel
but
like
over
Alec
time,
wanted that
the
to
Venus
happen?
flytrap will
Oh, so much honey everywhere. Oh, it tastes so good.
That's actually low-key Alec's like dream come true. He's trapped with a bunch of food.
I'm just suffocating in food. Oh, no, it hurts. Oh, it hurts so good.
produce a type of acid
Well,
that will
R.I.P.
dissolve
Alec
the
in
poor
the chat.
ant into nothing but
I'm not out yet.
nutrients.
Look, I'm still
But
squirming in there.
carnivorous plants weren't the only thing the ants
Okay,
had to
I'm
watch
dead.
out for. As I'm
Yeah,
about
you're
to
dead.
He's dead.
introduce a fierce predator into the rainforest.
I
Something
don't see it.
menacing with excellent
gotta be a
eyesight
spider.
and sharp venomous fangs.
Oh my
Everyone,
goodness.
please welcome Jeremy, my jumping
The
spider.
jumping spider!
I haven't fed Jeremy in days, so I
Jeremy.
expect him to instantly
Yo.
start
Oh
eating
my
the
God.
plant.
bragging
Did
about
you hear
that.
him?
I haven't fed Jeremy in 17 weeks, so he's starving.
This guy is crazy.
And I've trapped him in a room and constantly spun him for the last 48 hours. Let's see what
dizzy and
happens.
Wait,
Wait, what? Okay, it turns out Jeremy is a little bit camera shy and just instantly went to hide in some plants.
GG's, Jeremy.
I tried to push him out
What
so
a
I could
cutie.
film him eating some of the ants,
Hey,
but he
do
just
something.
went and hid
Do
in another
something.
place where I couldn't even see
the
him.
scene from Nemo.
Well, Jeremy is in this rainforest, and when he does decide to come out, these ants better be careful. Yeah. It was now day 23, and today I wanted to simulate some natural disasters across
There
not
we go,
only
let's
the
go.
rainforest, but
Oh,
also
wow.
the desert to see how the ants will
really?
react. Of course, over in the desert, I'm going to create a sandstorm. So I brought over my hairdryer and turned it on.
Dude, he's flexing on us. How much is that hair dryer? He's got like the $400 one.
That is a crazy hairdryer.
He has that Dyson Double Blow 65,000.
Like, what hair dryer are you using on that thing?
I'm pretty sure you just blow into his hair every morning.
What is wrong with you guys?
The sand started to fly everywhere, and the ants that were out exploring had to try their best to cling onto the grains of sand that they could.
Jeffrey!
But over
Oh,
in the
no, he
rainforest,
gone.
fog had started to roll in, and a thunderstorm appeared out of nowhere.
These ants are probably so confused.
This rain will play a vital role in making sure the ant colony has enough water to sustain their entire colony. It was nearing the end of the 30-day simulation, and today, on day 28, I wanted to see how the ants would respond to an intruder in their home nest.
I feel like that's such a lame-looking colony.
Yeah, what the heck? They're probably all spread out.
So I removed the glass and put the roach in.
Oh my gosh!
This
guy's a
down to the
shit!
bottom of the nest where there
Seriously?
were no ants. Now to be
That's like imagine somebody just lifted up your roof and dropped in like a 7'5" man just to cause havoc. He's just running around like, wake up, I'm gonna eat your queen, me.
It's like the
That's
Shack
basically what
Delicious.
just happened.
Yeah, I think I'd become friends with him.
To be honest, I thought the ants would
Hey dude, the
start
queen's in the
swarming
back.
roach.
I really hope one of the ant like tames it and then they ride it into battle like a stallion.
And then they start breeding.
Crawled down to the bottom of the nest where there were
No.
no ants. Now,
Oh,
to be
my
honest,
bad.
I
We're
thought
on
the
the wrong
ants would
page.
instantly start swarming the roach, but it took a few minutes before even the first
we go.
ant had contact with it. The ant got super scared and fell
he
on his
just
back. But the roach was just as scared, and it
terrifying.
ran all the way
Why
to
is
the
the
exit
roach
of the
scared?
nest. He then
Wait.
crawled out into the desert outworld, never to be seen again. Thankfully, the queen was
Dude, that thing
left
sucked.
unharmed, and the colony got
I thought
to
it was
live
supposed to
another
cause
day.
havoc.
Over the past 30 days,
just
the
left.
ants went from a
He
tiny
peacefully
tube
left.
to
See, look,
a
see the yellow one? The
thriving
yellow one's
nest
baby.
with
Wait, let's go back.
multiple
Oh.
The yellow ant. Called it. Told you right there.
Yeah, right
Boom,
there, right
baby
there.
ant.
Wait, how do you know that? It looks like a normal size
Could just
ant.
be a female
It's not
ant.
developed yet. In like tomorrow it'll be brown probably.
So it's like a non-puberty ant.
Yeah, why do you know so
Correct.
much about
It's a
non-developed ants
prepubescent
and
ants.
animals?
But also, wait, but it's like the same size as the other ants.
Yeah, it just went through its growth spurt. Sometimes there's 14-year-old kids who are just as tall as you. Not me, but you.
In this video, I've never seen an ant that's smaller than the normal size ants. They've always been the same size.
How often are you looking at ants, Jack?
That's the queen. The queen's supposed to be. She's got that thicky.
She's got a gat!
I feel like Adam hasn't contributed in this video except for right now.
She's got a gat. Gat. Let's get back to the video.
tube to a thriving nest with multiple ecosystems. Although some of the ants were lost to predators, the survivors were able to prosper until day 30. By the way, this is only my 5th ever video. So
There's tons of random objects like this rock, which when you flip them, you find life that you would have never known was there. This
I
one
love
in
doing
specific
that.
just had a massive ant colony, but in this video, I'll be flipping 100 objects to find all sorts of weird insects, lizards, and
This is how we found Adam when he
venomous
was just a baby.
creatures.
And right now, I'm at the start of the
True
trail,
story.
but the deeper I go, the cooler the animals get. With the cooler
What?
I'm gonna find
in
an
the desert.
axolotl.
How does
So
he
I made
know
my
that?
way over
What?
to object number 2,
Wait,
which I had
what?
a good feeling about. And underneath, there was actually something cool. Oh, second rock. There's something here.
What is that?
Check it out. It's a
Yo,
little
it's a
rough-skinned
lizard!
newt, which if you
A
didn't know,
newt!
are actually like pretty dangerous. Yeah, you heard that right. There's a toxic chemical sitting on the skin of this. And if you touch it and then touch your eyes or mouth, you could get poisoned.
I was gonna say, I know it sounds silly, but I'm pretty sure flipping rocks is dangerous.
Alec, that's just a long-lost myth, okay? That's what your parents told you because they didn't want you to go outside.
One time I flipped the rock and there was a black widow under it. I almost died. Almost died. But I'm kind of Himothy, so I didn't die.
It's got to be dangerous because every time you flip the rock, you're pretty much moving that animal's home. So they're going to go into full self-defense mode and like start attacking you.
It's true, especially if you come across a big snake. That's my worst fear whenever I flip a rock.
I hope Derek Green's going to be all right at the end of this video. He's going to flip over scorpions? Nah, that's not going to end well.
All right, sorry for disturbing you. Let me leave you now.
Right next to the newt, I found object number
Bye,
3,
newt.
which had nothing underneath. Most of the objects will have nothing, so from now on, I'm just gonna skip them. Thankfully, though, my luck instantly came back because straight after I came across this.
Where I just walked up to this big chunk of bark and I just saw
there's gonna be
really
something
weird.
good.
Even though I'm kind of an animal expert,
is that a salamander?
I don't know what this is at all.
Imagine that's just like some homeless dude's turd that's been cooking.
What? No, what? It's not a snail. It's what's the other version of a snail that doesn't have a shell?
slug.
A slug. It looks like a slug.
Oh, yeah.
What did Adam say?
Nah.
Did he say
It kinda looks
sloth?
like
It
Adam's
was the
boogers.
stick.
But I learned that it's actually
Is it a
called a
caterpillar?
Pacific banana slug, and apparently
Whoa.
it's one of the biggest slugs in the world. They can get way bigger than this. Since
Where
this
does
wood
he
was
live?
promising, I
Oh.
kept looking around and flipped some leaves to find this
trying to
little
dox
black
him.
and
Whoa.
yellow millipede. The yellow spots on it tell you
Nah.
that it's poisonous if eaten, so I
Yeah.
don't want to mess with it too much.
Guys, general rule of thumb, if you're out in nature, bright colors equals death.
I'm pretty sure I've seen some of those in my basement.
This is actually scaring me that he already found all of this and he's only flipped over 4 rocks out of 100. I'm not going outside ever.
He probably lives in Australia or Arizona. Those are the only 2 spots that have bugs like that.
It looks
He's
like
wearing
Arizona.
gloves. This guy's awesome.
Behind object number
where's
6
his mom?
was a bunch of ants
I know, right?
crawling up the side of a hill in a line formation.
It's nothing crazy. We're bound to find lots of ants out here. But I actually have something to show these guys. You see, with me, I actually have the backpack. Which inside, I've packed a ton of random gadgets in order to interact
nice.
with some of the wild animals out here and show off their
Oh, we
cool
can
abilities.
feed them.
And of course, I had something packed for these ants.
Ew!
An orange, which I went and took a piece off of and put in the middle of the ant line. As you probably
I thought he was just going to eat it in front of them.
So he's basically acting like God to these little critters, which is kind of fun.
He does this anyways. This time they're just not in a cage. I'm Team Terra.
Alec, this would be like somebody taking the roof off of your house and then just giving you a giant pizza pie for free.
Yeah, there's something I want to say. I don't know if I should say it. I've been thinking about saying it. Here it goes. I used to pee on ant nests and would think I'm God to them, you know. It's raining down my pee all over their house. It's like a tsunami of my pee.
It's just Alec that has done that, okay? I have not done that.
Come on.
Adam?
I can't be the only one. Comment if you've also done that.
That's messed up, dude.
I'm just saying, when I saw the
That is
ants, that's the first thing that popped in my head is pee on it. See, I didn't want to say it, and then you guys made me say it.
You would do that in your own home?
I do have a pee corner.
right,
That's
let's keep
legit.
watching.
No, ants
Okay,
like
I
this
don't believe
love
that, you guys.
sugar, and that was demonstrated because it only took until 3 minutes later. When
Wow.
I saw that way more ants
Whoa.
started to gather
They're
around the orange, and they
swarming.
were all putting their
so
little
many
mouths
ants
in the
into
world.
it. They were all trying to suck the juice out of it.
Wow.
And then once they were full, they would walk back to the colony and feed some of it to the queen and some newly hatched ants. The next
Are you
few
sure that's
objects
what
I
they're
flipped
doing?
had nothing, so I
That's
made it a solid
crazy.
amount down the trail when it was time for object number 10, which when I flipped,
What's this
I
one
found
gonna be?
a Jerusalem cricket, which is this really
Oh my,
weird looking
what?
bug that's basically a mutation between a cricket and an alien. After the cricket went into
I've
the
never
dirt to
seen
hide, I
that.
flipped some
That's
of the
pretty
stuff
cool.
nearby and found
does he
another
know?
millipede. This guy is also
Dude, that is
poisonous, which you can tell by
disgusting.
its bright red coloration. And by this point, I had reached the first little stream
Blood
of the
centipede.
trail, which I stopped and checked to see if there's any fish or anything.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
not really
gosh.
seeing any fish. But rivers like this
That looks
usually
so
do have
nice.
tons of cool animals around them because of the
That is
moisture.
really
So let's get the flip.
clear.
The first thing I did by
Yeah.
the stream was flip this dirty old blanket someone had
Oh,
left
there's
behind.
gonna be so
which
many
surprisingly
worms.
Ew.
There's gonna be some guy that's been camping out there being like, hey, give me my blanket back.
Adam, I do not think somebody's using that.
It looks crusty, bro.
What if, like, 3/4 into the trail, he finds Dwayne The Rock Johnson and just flips him over?
It's about drive. It's about power.
Didn't have anything
That would
hiding
be
under
so
it, but
funny.
for some reason there was this little leaf which had grown from the blanket. But the second thing I flipped near the stream had the
Life can
first
grow
really
anywhere.
cool thing of the journey.
Oh my gosh,
That
but
is
there's a
nasty.
scorpion right here. This is the first
scorpion?
In specific, it was a small California forest scorpion. which is just
Wow.
sitting
Oh, he
there
lives in
with its stinger
California.
ready to
Who
strike.
named
With
that?
the cool-
Who named that? Come on, let's be a little bit more creative than that, guys. Come on.
I appreciate how it's named. It has the name of where it was found, what type it is, and then what actual animal it is. I respect that.
The only way it would actually be a cool name is if they're not actually in California, and it's like he was defying.
You just find one in New Hampshire? Oh, what is a Californian scorpion doing out here?
I mean, yeah, that is kind of the equivalent of like Adam being born, and they're like, what do we call him? Big Nosed Boy. And then that's just your name forever.
That's what I call him.
More rocks, more rocks,
Cooler
more
animals
rocks.
like this, I'm gonna put them in this clear container and take out the backpack. As you know, I've prepared all the stuff in here so I can interact with some of the creatures. And for this guy, I've got some super worms.
Scorpion,
which, yes,
you
are
must
literally
battle
just live
a
worms
super
I wanted
worm.
to try and feed to the scorpion. I put one of them in front of him with some tweezers, and right away he went into defense mode
Give me
with his
that.
stinger up in the air. He kept even grabbing it with his pinchers to basically give it a warning and tell it not to disturb
Get off
him.
me.
I don't want to eat you, but I will. I'll do it.
You can't walk on that.
Sorry for disturbing you.
A few objects later, I flipped some more
wasn't
stuff
hungry.
and found a
Just got
couple more
traumatized.
insects like another.
That Scorpion's friends will never believe him.
That's like the guys in the country that get abducted by the aliens. They get probed in the butt, then just get dropped right back. And then they tell everybody. Nobody believes them.
You always gotta make it weird. Why can't they just get probed?
What do you think probing is, Jack?
They just do some tests on you.
Can confirm that it's not what probing is.
Not
Adam's
it.
weird, guys. Comment down below. He always makes it weird.
That's what aliens do.
Looks like another yellow and black millipede from earlier, another yellow and black millipede again, and another millipede. Yeah, 3 in a row.
What the heck, bro? There's so many of these. I
They're
swear
gross. That
one's
this
dead.
horse is
Please burn them all.
millipedes or something.
Anyways, I kept exploring and ended up finding this.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
Look at this
logs
log
are
in the light.
perfect.
It's covered in a ton of mushrooms.
Now, the mushrooms don't actually mean anything, but I figured it was a good omen, so I flipped
He's
it.
gonna
Let's
find
see
a lot
if
of
there's
bugs.
Anything? Oh yes, right here. Look. And a
Snail!
Holy, this snail
Like
is
Gary?
like massive. It's like the size of my.
Don't touch it
fingers.
with your
Look at
bare
that.
hands. Don't do
Based
it.
off of the colors
Hermie
of this,
crab.
I think it's a Pacific sideband
Nah.
snail, which are pretty cool because
Oh,
they
nice.
got red
You gotta get
bodies,
some
as you
gloves.
can kind of tell here. But anyways, I continued on
my
down
God.
the forest trail. That's when I came across this piece of log, which under it I found another one of those rough
Ew.
Oh,
but
yeah,
after
the
touching
newts.
it lightly with a stick, I
That
noticed
is
it wasn't
gross.
moving a lot, and also it looked really dried out. Thankfully, in
it
the backpack, I had
hibernating?
prepared for this.
As you can see, I've got a water bottle, which I think the newt is gonna
That's
like.
so
And with
nice.
this water, I
think
literally
he
just
needs a
poured some
totem of
it onto
undying.
the newt. These guys
What if he's
love
drowning
it.
him now?
And basically this
He's
will
so
just
nice.
Okay.
Help
I don't want to drown it or anything.
Now, as I continued on, I
torturing
ended up
it.
finding the rarest thing yet. Under this rock, after I flipped it, I saw a little black thing run out from beneath, but I didn't really get to capture it
A
on
spider?
camera. So I followed the direction it went, and on top of the log, I found
Bro is a
it's an
tracker.
ant, but not
A
just any
tarantula
ant.
wasp?
It's a
my
winged
God.
ant, which only
I hate
happens
those.
during a couple days out of the year. What this means is it's
Wow.
a newly born queen, which ran away from its original colony, and they have these wings, of course, to allow them to fly away and find a new area to start their own.
Wait, that's actually so cool that they can do that.
They can just be like, I don't want to be the queen anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't even have wings. They literally, she transforms.
You guys do know, like, thousands of insects have wings.
Yeah,
it's
but-
not like...
Yeah, but it just grew wings out of nowhere, and then when it finds a new nest, it's gonna get rid of the wings.
Yes, it only grows wings so that it can fly away for this, and then it starts a brand new colony, and then it gets rid of the wings.
What other animal does that, Alec?
How are you not amazed by that?
Deer grow antlers and then shed the antlers.
That's not wings. They can't fly with their antlers.
How is that not amazing? If you had wings on your back, you wouldn't even leave the ground.
There's so many insects that can also fly, and you guys are making it seem like it's a freaking...
But ants usually can't fly like that, especially not the queen.
There's so many mammals that could fly.
You have no idea how bad I want to fall on your forehead right now.
I'm just saying, if I could grow wings for 3 days out of the year, I would be so happy.
Why are you always speaking weird, Alec?
That's not weird.
That was actually pretty normal coming from Alec.
I can make it way weirder, Adam.
We know.
Colony,
Wiener
which
now.
she did.
Oh, and she's off. Dang,
Bye,
that's actually
queen.
so cool. I've never seen an ant
out,
flying.
Dane.
Go
Anyways, I
slay,
kept
go
walking
slay.
and
Yeah, she
decided
just
to
slay
flip
popped
this
off.
log.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Finally,
worms,
I've been
worms.
looking for these. A decent
He is
sized
gross.
earthworm.
That's
Yeah,
crazy
usually
that
people
you didn't
wouldn't be
find one
excited
until
about
number
this.
30.
As you know, for me, I have
Eat
a
it.
backpack. And out of the top of it, this whole time, this little
Fishing
Barbie
pole?
thing's been sticking out.
Oh, he's
If you're
gonna use it as
wondering what
bait.
it is, it's a Barbie fishing pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can see where I'm going with this.
So I went and tied
I
a hook
like
to the
it.
end of the rod and traveled down the trail for about 10 minutes until I came
That worm
across
is
the
dead.
second stream, which I've heard.
I bet
this
you he
one
does this,
have
like, every
fish
day,
inside.
but
so
now
I put
he
the
just
worm
decided
on
to
the
film it.
princess rod and threw it in to try and catch a fish.
Okay, I don't really know how to do this, but I guess let me just
Hey, that's not a rock.
throw the worm out. Oh, that was a bad cast. Throw the worm out.
And yeah, I basically just started fishing. Now, I was actually fishing for a little while with no luck at all. But the thing is, I kept seeing fish jump out of the water. Yeah, that right there, that's a fish. And it looks like they're eating flies that land on the water. At this point, I was
Flying
super
fish.
determined to catch a fish. And the worm just wasn't cutting it. Now, thankfully, I actually did bring some artificial fly lures in the backpack. So I tied one of those
I'm
on the
man.
rod
Smart.
instead of the worm and recasted it out. Yeah, this is just kind of a random side side quest, but thankfully it didn't take long until this happened.
Oh, yes, I got a fish. Oh, I didn't even realize there was a fish on it.
Yeah, the fish
Got
was
him.
so small I didn't even feel it on the rod. But hey, it's a
little
success in
baby
my
fish.
book because I was actually able to catch a fish on this princess fishing rod.
All right, sorry, buddy.
Somehow, I mean, that fish is tiny, but Adam has caught a fish tinier than that one.
Bye-bye.
The first object I
Way
flipped after
tired.
fishing actually had something really cool underneath. A bunch of little termites, and there was also an ant colony. Normally, these species are not friendly towards each other, and in fact, it kind
Are they
of looked like the
fighting?
termites might have invaded
Yeah.
the ant nest. Because I saw that
Oh
the
my
ants were trying
God.
to take their eggs and run away
Wait,
with
that's
them.
crazy
Eventually,
that he
because I
caught
moved
that.
the log, all the bugs had run underground through their little holes, and were probably having a
Oh my
massive war or
gosh.
something. Pretty cool.
See, imagine this, guys. You see a war going on between ants and maggots or whatever, and then you pull your pants down and just start peeing all over them.
Again,
Come
I
on!
don't see why
Come
you would
on!
do such a thing.
Dude! And then they all start running around like, it's
Alex,
Armageddon!
you are neutral bad. You're neutral most of the time, but then you have these really bad thoughts that should stay inside of your brain.
You're on your own for this one, Alec.
There's gonna be a couple comments that will understand. I know I'm gonna get roasted a lot for my doings and my thoughts, but some people out there will agree and understand.
Terra Green is doing good things. He's the green thumb guy, and you're Terra Red. You're the one that's gonna take poops and pees on the animals.
The furthest I'd go is a dust storm. I'd give him a dust cloud.
Is that where you sneeze on them?
No, that's where I stand over them and fart.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's totally normal.
Little sticky gas.
They all just pass out for like 5 seconds and then get revived.
And that's when Alec comes in and wipes them out with the tsunami.
Oh yeah, this is basically what happened to the dinosaurs.
Pretty cool. For the 35th object, I sort of inspected under and around this log and found this weird orange spiderweb looking thing inside of it.
Ew.
But orange spiderwebs are not really a thing that exists.
Spiderweb?
So I
Is
think
it like
it's some
rusted?
sort of fungus or mold. I don't know the exact
Bacteria?
type though, so comment if you think you
Wow,
know
that
the
actually looks
exact
pretty
name.
cool.
Under object number
kinda
40,
neat.
at first I thought there was nothing, but after looking super closely, I actually saw a little
Whoa,
salamander.
the camouflage.
These guys
Look
are
at
basically
that.
just
Nice.
like the little newts we've been finding, but smaller. And right next to that salamander, I found this burnt
He's
piece of
poking
wood,
it.
which when I flipped it, I saw another one of those exact same
Oh my gosh,
salamanders.
they really do
I'm
blend
so
in.
hard to
super lucky
see.
that I saw both these guys because as you can see, they have specifically evolved over the years to have the exact
Yeah.
same color and pattern as the floor so they don't get seen. By this point, I was getting pretty deep
Evolution.
into the forest and was getting even
almost
closer
halfway
to
there.
the desert
Let's
where
go.
the super cool animals were located. And soon enough, I came across object 43. I didn't even need to flip this one
bottle.
because it was actually just a bottle. Oftentimes, animals can
I'm
get
telling you,
trapped
there's
in
somebody
trash like
living
this,
there.
So I looked around by shining my flashlight in there, but thankfully there was nothing. So I kept the bottle to make
Nice.
sure nothing would. Under this rock here,
job,
just
Tara
like
Green.
with the salamander, I didn't see anything at first. But after taking a
Spiders?
closer look, you can see there's a type of grasshopper right here.
Whoa.
Grasshoppers have some of the best camouflage out of any animal, and this one in
see
specific
it.
just looks like dead leaves and sticks,
Whoa.
and basically just disappears when it walks near some
That's a
of
cool
them.
skin.
As I kept walking, I eventually came across this part of the forest, which seemed like a small forest fire had run through because everything was burnt.
Okay, now while most
no.
people would probably think the burnt area is
Alec
not
probably
a good
did that.
area to check for animals, well,
Alec.
so far for me,
No,
under all
I
the
would have
burnt
peed it
pieces of
out.
wood
I would have
I've
extinguished
flipped,
it with
I
my
found cool
pee.
stuff like a newt, and that's also where I found one of those salamanders.
So I went and flipped a few of the burnt objects and didn't find much besides a few bugs. But right next to all the burnt
beetles.
stuff was this log, which I flipped, and
He
underneath
has
I
no
found
problem
another one of
flipping
those
those.
California forest scorpions. But this time there was
wow.
actually something in its claws that it was eating. I wanted to see what it was
bug.
eating, so I grabbed it with some
No, don't take his
tweezers,
food.
And,
No,
yeah,
he's
he wasn't
yoinking
so
it.
happy about
Oh, he's
that 'cause
in.
he grabbed it back and raised
Oh,
this
he wants
thing
that.
up in the sky.
That's
The
mine.
heck? This guy is so mad. I guess he doesn't want me stealing his
Attack!
food. Dang.
Also, in
It's
the
like
burnt
somebody
area,
stealing
I
your
found
Chipotle
this,
burrito.
which of course I had to check for animals inside of.
Hold on, this is not a rock I've seen before.
Okay.
What's in here?
Nah.
Ooh, we got little
Do not lift that
spiders,
open.
Worms, and what's
Ew!
under the object?
What the?
There's just a ton of poop down there. It's kind of nasty, actually. I smell that. I'm getting out there.
But
Why
jokes
is there a
aside, the
belt
burnt
in
place
there?
was easily
Somebody
the best
left
place
their
I
belt in there.
Imagine his next video. You know those videos where it's like, I made a secret gaming room
Uh-huh.
in my basement? It'd be like he turns that into a gaming room that only he knows about. That would be perfect.
And then he buys a secret animal for it, and then he puts it in there.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, you have a porta potty story, right? Don't you have a porta potty story? You really had to go, so you had to cut the line?
Oh, yeah. I cut the line in the porta potty because I really had to go.
He had to go so bad that he said, I'm so sorry, everybody. I gotta cut the line. I gotta go.
And it didn't even help because as I was walking in, it just all went, it just released.
He still pooped himself. He
Everybody-
cut the whole line to get into the porta potty. I'm sorry for stealing your thunder here, but he poops his pants so bad.
Why do you know this?
Oh, because it's hilarious. He had to take his underwear out, because that's where all the poop was, and throw it into the porta potty, and then go the rest of the day without underwear on.
It felt pretty good.
Right? Like that was. That's
Don't say right. Just move on. We're not even talking about that anymore.
I think about that every time I see a porta potty.
Why? Don't stop thinking. All right, we're gonna flip rocks.
Been so far because under object 53, I found another queen ant just running around.
It was not a rock I wanted to flip over about
So I
Adam.
scooped it up into the clear container to get a better look at it, and as you can see, it kind of has these little scars on the thorax where the wings used to be. And because of how big the abdomen is, you can tell
cool.
this queen is fertile and ready to start laying eggs. Now, I actually did bring something in the backpack in case I was able to catch a queen ant without wings, and it's this little container. You see, what I did was fill it up with some moss and
He's about to
dirt,
take
and
that
then
ant.
put the queen ant inside.
Oh my
he's
God.
taking the
Into
ant.
the channel, you know I love simulating ant
Oh, he's
colonies
about
at
to-
home and raising them from
No
a single
way.
queen.
He's
So
stealing
I'll be
the ant.
taking this ant home with me
She
and starting
got
a colony
abducted.
with it. Under
What?
object 55,
Wait, that's
which
kinda
was
awesome,
also
though.
burnt,
He just
I
abducted
found
an ant.
another scorpion.
Yo, another scorpion. I'm telling you, this
That's
burnt
the third
area is
one.
actually completely stacked with the coolest animals.
Now, even though I was finding a bunch of cool stuff in this burnt area, as you can see on the map, I was getting super close to the desert. And to be honest, I really wanted to get there, so I didn't flip a single more thing and got to the end of the
Terra
forest
Green.
trail where my car was parked. Quickly, I drove for about 20
nice
minutes
car.
to the start of the desert
Forerunner?
habitat to continue the trail.
Well, here we go. I made it to the heart
Whoa.
of the desert, basically.
That
and
looks
right
way
away,
different than
there's
before.
one thing I gotta do. I gotta, first of all, take out the backpack. And inside, I'm gonna pull out these.
Now, these are snake
What's
gators,
that?
and they're basically made out of a material that snakes can't bite through. So I went and put them
Oh,
on my
that's
legs
That's
just
actually
because
genius.
honestly, I did not want to get bit by a rattlesnake out here. Anyways, I started to make my way
could
down
be
the
deadly.
desert trail, and it didn't take long until I found a rock that looked like it was good to flip. And I'm not kidding, instantly I found
Whoa.
something interesting. As
Whoa,
you can see,
baby
it's
scorpion.
a desert scorpion.
It looks like
which
it's
has a more
see-through.
potent venom than those ones I was finding in the forest, and also they can get way bigger. In fact, there's a chance out in this desert we'll find some desert hairy scorpions, which are the largest in the United States. Anyways, I continued on the search for desert
I don't want
animals,
that
and
at
the
all.
next few rocks I flipped all had either tiny little beetles or some of these larger darkling beetles, which were actually pretty cool looking. As I continued on through the desert trail,
That's
I
awesome.
found this rock here, and underneath of it was this little hole. Inside, it looked like I had found another queen
another
ant,
ant?
and it looked like it had dug out this little burrow and was trying to start a colony.
Look at the
But unlike
eggs.
the queen ants I found
That's
earlier
cute.
in this video, this one had already laid its eggs. You see, after queens
wow.
lay their eggs, they can get stressed from stuff really
She kinda-
easily. So I
yeah.
just rock back over
Ant
it. So quickly
caviar.
Holy cow.
Alec was silent for a
Still had a couple
while.
more eggs in there.
I was in a trance for a second.
Centipede. He didn't really
What
like
the-
being in the sun though, and instantly dug underground. Two rock flips
bye-bye.
later, I found another centipede, and this time it looked like it was a bit bigger, but it burrowed completely into the
Thank
dirt.
God.
I wanted to show it off though, so of
No.
course I dug it out. And
Oh
as
my
you
gosh.
can
No.
see,
Oh my
they're
gosh.
extremely fast. If
Ew.
we pause the video, you can
Look at it, look at
actually
it.
see it has a slight green tint to it, which means it's a banded desert centipede, which actually have venomous bites. So I made sure to keep my hands away. I
Nope.
continued to flip some rocks, and after flipping rocks
Does he have, like, a
76,
Pokédex
out of the
with him?
corner of my eye, I saw
I know all these
Right
animals.
here behind the bush, there was a little lizard that was
Oh,
super
yeah.
well camouflaged.
Wow,
And as you already know,
that thing's
lizards are
huge.
I
pretty
didn't see
cool.
that first time
So
around.
Of course, I prepared something in the backpack
What?
for this guy. It was a single cricket, so I carefully dropped him near the lizard without spooking it. And it was funny because his head instantly snapped towards the cricket, and I guess he has
the
some pretty
cricket
good
could be free if it
predator
can
technique.
escape.
Yeah, he just ate that thing right away in one bite.
wow,
You can
he got
even
it so
see the
fast.
cricket's little head poking
Nice.
out of the mouth. Pretty brutal. The same thing happened 5 minutes later after flipping rock 78 because out of the corner of my eye, I saw
is
an
that?
animal.
Wait, do you see that?
Whoa, I actually don't even see it.
Camouflage.
I see it, but I don't.
Bug.
And I was right because you
Wow,
remember that, super
that is the most camouflaged bug
deadly
ever.
grasshopper from earlier.
Pee
Well,
on
this
it.
is the desert equivalent of that. Wow. When I got my hand
I
a little
still
too
really can't
close,
see it that well.
jumped away. And when I followed it, you can see
gosh.
each time it jumps, it brings out these little orange wings.
Whoa.
It uses to go super fast. But yeah,
That
with
is
a pattern
awesome.
like this, I have
That's the
no
coolest
idea
animal
how
so
to
far.
see
Cool.
this. The next rock I
like
flipped
that
had a
word,
ton
insect.
of ants under it. But if you look very closely, you can actually see they were all eating a dead lizard. I'm not sure how this lizard died, but it shows the brutal reality of the desert
R.I.P.
and how ants will take any food they can find laying around. Under rock 90, I found another one of those
poor
desert
guy.
scorpions.
That
Now
is the
this
circle
was a
of
good
life.
sign because you see by this point I was getting pretty deep into the trail and the sun was even starting to set.
You
But
gotta find a
scorpions
snake,
like
come
this
on.
have a super cool ability when it turns dark. So as it got darker,
I think
and
they
darker,
glow
I
up.
kept flipping rocks, hoping to
way.
find another one of those scorpions. I got
This
all
has
the
to
way
be dangerous
rock
at night.
97. Under it was nothing. Then rock 98,
Oh, it's raining,
which
too.
again had nothing.
This is
I was
so
starting
dangerous.
to lose hope, but then then on Rock 99,
Aren't there lions
this
out there?
happened.
Oh, yes. I don't even know how I
happened?
saw that, but look.
Another scorpion.
Right there. That's a scorpion's tail just moved.
Now, in order to show off the scorpion's special ability, I got out the backpack.
It's gotta glow.
and
I think it
grabbed out a
glows.
special UV
Yeah, it's gonna glow,
flashlight.
you're right.
Once I turned off my light, I turned on the UV light, and
The scorpion. It glows in the dark. A bright
Oh my
neon green
God.
color.
the scorpion ended up running
That's
away.
so
I
cool.
went to flip Rock 100, and underneath
I want another
there
one.
was nothing. But hey, I would definitely call this challenge a success because I found so many cool and unique animals.